And tell me when we're live.
We are live. We are live. Welcome, WEN family. This is your girl, Jaunai Walker. Guess what? I just hacked into WEN and I am doing a takeover. This is not a hostile takeover. This is a friendly takeover. I am hosting today's WEN Talk for my girl, Haley Gray. She is here. If you are here and you are live and you are watching, let's drop Haley Gray some hearts, some love. She can see your comments. You might not be able to see her, but I promise you, she is here with us. She's here with us. But yes, we have an exciting lineup for you guys today. And as you can see, we have our first speaker that is on screen with us. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jaunai Walker. I am a speaker, coach, and trainer. I specifically focus on the areas of sales and marketing for entrepreneurs and sales professionals. Anybody that's looking to grow their business, grow their territory, grow their pockets or their revenue, I am here for all of it. And so I just wanted to welcome you all to our WIN Talk. And like I said earlier, we have some phenomenal folks that are coming to speak and to pour into you. So get your pens, get your paper, get ready to take some good notes. We can see comments. So please, please, please put the comments in the chat. Make sure you let StreamYard know who you are, so we can actually see the name of the person that's leaving the comment. But other than that, I am going to just go ahead and kick this off with our first presenter, Miss Susan Cruz. Thank you so much. Welcome to WEN, and we are here for everything that you have to teach us.
Oh my goodness, Johnny, thank you. Thank you so much. And oh my goodness, what a wonderful person to hack the WIN network today. We are grateful that you are here and we are sending Haley all the love
Yes.
and healing vibes to for her to heal well. So I have a little story to share with you. For years and years, my dad said my middle name was Go because you know what? I was always on the go. Go, 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 go. This started back in my teenage years, probably because I had FOMO, the fear of missing out. But it carried over into my adulthood and into the time when I was running a business. I was being a mom. I had 4 children that were born within 5 years together. I was a wife and a daughter and a friend, trying to do all the things. And I looked like I had it together on the outside. But you know what? On the inside, I was exhausted. I was tired. I was tired all the time. Have you ever experienced something like that? Felt like you had it all together, but truthfully, you were worn out, trying to do all the things, keep up with life, but yet you felt like you were drained and didn't have the energy to do the things you wanted to do and have joy while doing them. Well, I'll tell you what happened. About 14, 16 years ago, I had gone into my bedroom to get the leaf to my table out because it was 3 days before Thanksgiving and I was beginning to set the table. And you want to know what happened? When I laid down on the floor to get that leaf out of the table, I fell sound asleep. Sound asleep. An hour later, Jimmy came to find me because he was supposed to help me, and he had to wake me up. Now, in a few moments, I just laid down, got horizontal, and fell asleep on the hard floor. And when he woke me up, I knew in that moment something had to change and that I had to change from the inside out. That I could no longer keep up with the fast pace that the world was putting on me or I was putting on myself. That I had to figure out what I needed to do so I could have the energy I needed to be more successful at work and to have more joy in my life, to enjoy the amazing life I had. So I started to redesign my life. And today I'm going to share with you 3 R's: refresh, re-energize, and renew, which can be simple steps to start implementing to redesign your life. So the first one is going to be kind of interesting to you. Remember, I'm working now from inside out to regain that energy to bust this exhaustion cycle. The first one is going to be refresh. And refresh simply means to hydrate, refresh myself, to refresh myself with water. Now, why in the world would someone want to use water or drinking water, hydration, to re-energize yourself? Well, here's the deal. The water doesn't actually give you energy, but what being hydrated does is it reduces fatigue. It keeps the water and the oxygen flowing through your body naturally, so your body and your cells can do everything that it needs to do. It gives you energy by preventing symptoms of fatigue. It maximizes your physical abilities, and it affects your energy levels because being hydrated or dehydrated affects your brain function. And when your brain can function at its optimal levels, it saves you energy and gives you more energy to be able to do the things you love. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching, I have a motto. When I am in a Zoom meeting, or even when I'm in a live meeting or around people, I believe in the motto, see a sip, take a sip. So whenever I see somebody taking a sip of water, because I usually have it with me, I'll take a sip of water. So if you have water near you, let's all take a sip. There's one other trick or tip about being hydrated. I used to think that if I got up in the morning and I drank 2 cups of water, then middle of the day, I might drink another cup or 2 of water. And then about 5 or 6 o'clock, I might drink some more water. Well, the truth of it is that when you drink your water in spurts like that, you still may not be hydrated. But if you spread your water throughout the day, it helps to keep you hydrated all day long. So now what I do every day, and at the hour, on the hour, I drink 10 sips of water. And that is about 1 cup of water. So I am getting the amount of water that I need all day long to stay hydrated, to keep my brain functioning properly, and have the brain energy that I need to be successful at work and in my daily life. So tip number 1, refresh. That simply means stay hydrated. Tip number 2, to re-energize yourself. Thinking about walking or energy or movement. Your body is made to move. And the more you move, the more energy you will have throughout the day. So, walking is one of the best forms of exercise that you can do. And I absolutely love walking because it doesn't cost you anything other than a good pair of shoes, and you can do it anywhere, anytime. Movement, it will help to bump up your production of your feel-good hormones in your brains, your endorphins, and will give you more energy throughout the day. Here's one tip about walking that I have learned in the past 4 or 5 months. I've been working with a naturopath doctor, and I typically walked 45 minutes to an hour first thing in the morning. Well, what she has suggested that I do is that I walk 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at lunch, and 15 minutes as the sun is setting. Here's the reasoning behind that, actually, the scientific proof. When you walk early in the morning, it's waking your body up with the sun. So it's starting your day by getting you in the circadian rhythm. You're getting the energy of the morning sun rising up, starting your day with light, starting your day with vitamin D. Then, if you walk for 15 minutes at lunchtime, guess what? The sun is at the high peak. So, with the sun being at the high peak, you're getting your vitamin D and the strength and the energy from the sun in the middle of the day. Well, then when you walk at night as the sun is starting to set, guess what happens? That signals your brain that it's time to start making melatonin. And melatonin is the sleep hormone. So when you break your walking up into 3 different times during the day, it is helping your body to be in that circadian rhythm. This will help you sleep better, will help you have more energy throughout the day so you can be more successful at work and do the things that you love to do. I would love to know in the chat if you are someone that walks. Have you ever thought about breaking it up into 3 sections during the day? I recently got a dog, and so having a dog and a puppy has made that super easy for me, but I really like the way that it is helping me to be in tune with my natural circadian rhythm. And I will tell you, if you are someone who has sleep issues, walking as the sun is setting is one of the great natural tips that you can use to help your body know that it is time to start winding down and get ready for sleep. And yes, Haley, I see that you walk. We've had this conversation about us walking at different times during the day and walking when it's raining or just when we needed to get outside. So the third R in my redesigning my life is renew. And oftentimes when you think about renew, I think about reading or reconnecting with God or spirit or yourself or whatever. The R, the renew in this particular redesign for life is about breath work. And it renews your body by connecting your body and your breath together. How many of you have ever thought about your breath? We breathe naturally all day, every day. Most of us never think about it. And the majority of the time, when you hear someone, and even me, talking about breath work, they're talking about breathing to help you rest, reduce stress, get to sleep, and just to be present. What I'm going to talk about today is breath for energy. Have you ever thought about using your breath for energy? It is one of the best tools that you have, and like walking, it is absolutely free. You have it with you all the time. So the breath work that I want to teach you today is a 5-3-3, and it was actually created by a basketball coach or brought forth by a basketball coach, Claude Williams. And he had his basketball players do this particular technique every time before a game. And then they would do it before the second half started. You can do this sitting down or you can do it standing up. The main thing, you want to make sure your feet are grounded to the floor. You want to make sure your back is elongated and nice and long. And the top of your head, the crown of your head is pointing up. Now, before I share this with you, I'd like to share these cautions. If you have cardiac problems, if you have a respiratory infection, or if you are pregnant, you would not want to try this particular breath work. You should just be using nice, long, slow, deep breaths all the way down into your belly to help you with energizing yourself. So if you do not have any of these conditions, let me share this technique with you and you will see how it's done. You're going to inhale through your nose to the count of 5 and exhale. And then you're going to take 3 quick inhales to 1 exhale, and you will do this 3 times. That's it. If you have not practiced breath work, you might want to put your hand on your belly, and as you inhale, your belly expands, and as you exhale, your belly contracts. Quite contrary to what most of us do when we're naturally breathing. So let me demonstrate. Here you go. This is what the 5-3-3 looks like. And then after I do that, I always like to put my hand on my heart, feel my heartbeat, feel the natural rhythm, and feel the energy that I have created simply by using the 5-3-3 breath work. There are all sorts of great energy types of breath work out there that I love teaching, whether you need something for rest and relaxation or you need something for energy. So I want you to think about this. Are you like me? Have you been going, but yet on the inside, you feel exhausted? You are not able to live the life you love, or you need to find more success in your business? You know what? You deserve to live life to its fullest, to be as successful as you can in business, and to enjoy all the magical moments of your life. So if this is you or something here resonated with you, be sure and go to my website, susancruzco.com/secrets, and you can get the energy boosting blueprint, which is your energy boosting blueprint to break your exhaustion cycle. It's my 7 secrets that I have implemented into my life so that I could have more success and find more joy in the things that I love doing. The first 12 of you who go there and grab the energy boosting blueprint, I will be reaching out to you because you may have an energy boosting blueprint phone call where we will strategize the best way for you to start regaining energy and bust your exhaustion cycle. I am so excited each one of you is here today, and I look forward to connecting.
Awesome, Susan. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Refresh, re-energize, and renew. Such a great job, such a great message. We thank you so much. You did get some really good comments in the chat. You have Diane here all the way from England.
Right?
Everybody's saying sip, 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 chug, 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 and then breathe.
Right. Thank you all. You know, a lot of people don't think about water as being a one little tip, one something that is very simple to do that will help to boost your energy level. So I always love sharing that one, Jaunai.
Absolutely, Susan. Well, you gave your contact information
Yes,
and everyone knows how to reach out to you. So,
thank you.
if you haven't done so already, please feel free to reach out for Susan for some more tips on refresh, re-energize, and renew. Thank you again, Susan. It's been great.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to hear the other speakers.
Yes, yes, yes. Speaking of other speakers, we do have our speaker that is ready to come to the stage, Miss Myrtha Dubois.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello.
Awesome. Welcome to you, my friend. We are so excited that you're here. You can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so very much. And listen, there might be some background noise. I mentioned to Haley I did not put, this event on my calendar. How dare I? So I am running around, but guess what? You're going to get a little bit of me anyways. I wasn't going to run and hide, so you're getting a little something. So today I want to talk about and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Myrtha Dubois. I am a personal development strategist. And what I do is I help prepare and position women entrepreneurs to live life on their own terms. And how do you do that, right? So there's several things that you have to do to be able to live life on your own terms. And for me, I had to think back to Arthur Ashe. For those of you who know me, know that I love quotes, I love words. And so Arthur Ashe has a quote out there that says, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And that's where it all starts. It starts with you understanding who you are, almost like an identity. When you jump into your car every day, you're heading somewhere. Well, where are you heading? It's important to know where you're starting from as well. And so, the conversation, if you're writing things down, go ahead and make 3 columns for me, whether it's on your smartphone, your smart device, or on a piece of paper. Make 3 columns. The first column, you're going to write down, start where you are. The second column, you're going to write, use what you have. And the third column, you're going to write, do what you can. And then I need you to start to think of 5 areas of your life. You know what those 5 areas are? Yes, you do. But I'm going to share them with you anyways. The first area is your faith. What keeps you plugged in? What gives you energy? What is your source? The second area of your life is your family or relationships. The third area is going to be your fitness, physically and mentally. Fourth area is going to be your finances. That's very important. Listen, when one area of your life is affected, every area of your life is affected by that one area. So if you are home and things are going so good, you're going to bring that energy out with you into the world. When you go out and face the world, you're going to bring that energy with you. But if something happens outside the home, you're going to bring that bad energy bad into the house with you as well, into your relationships. Your money is going to go back. So it's a circle. So now you have 4, right? I call it the fifth one is about, it says fun, but I also want you to think about self-love and self-care. What I would like for you to write down is that self-love precedes self-care. It's a prerequisite. Because if you don't love yourself, those 5 areas, you're not going to take care of those 5 areas. So self-love is going to be a prerequisite for self-care. Okay? So now you have your 5 areas, and then you have your 3 columns, right? So what we're going to do, this is an exercise, and I do this because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to do it. And as a personal development strategist, my goal is to always help you implement, do something, right? Hashtag do something. Let's put that down. Hashtag do something. So when you think about the first column, starting where you are, where are you? Where are you in your personal life? Where are you in your professional life? Is it where you want to be? And if you're in this room, not so much so. This is a start, but it's not the ending to it all. There's more to come. Okay? There's more of you to come. So basically, get out of your own way because you are coming through. Yay. So definitely, where are you in your personal life and where are you in your professional life? Starting where you are. Write that down where you are. You may not have time to write all of it, but at least write the first line down as to where you are, so that when you think about it later, you can continue to add to that. The second column, about, as far as where you are personally and professionally, is what can you use to do better, to do more? What can you use? So if you're thinking my professional life, well, I'm starting here. I'm at the starting level. I want to, earn my first paycheck. Or I'm starting here. I've already earned $10,000 in my professional life. I want to build. I want to maybe open up another location. What is it? What is it that you have now that you can use to help you meet that goal? Is it? Do you have networking? Right. So you're in the WEN group. Use the individuals who are in that group to help you get to your next level. And if it's personal, what can you use? You have friends, you have family. What can you use? Do you have communication skills? What is it that you can use that you can start where you are to get to that next level, personally or professionally? Is everybody getting this? Because somebody unmute and tell me that it's starting to make sense. Anybody? I can't hear anybody. Can anybody tell me if it's starting to make sense for them?
You have a lot of comments in the background saying that it makes sense. So
Okay,
It makes
I
total
figured.
sense.
awesome. Thank you. And the other thing is, okay, so now we're moving on to the do what you can, right? So we're starting to implement. So now, personally and professionally, do what you can. So Haley is always in the group saying, how can I help you? Right? So how can I help you? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a coach? So get a coach, get a mentor. Do you need, for your personal life, for example, what do you need to move ahead in your personal life? Maybe your relationships. Are you networking enough? And networking, by the way, is not just for professionals. When you go to church, you're networking. When you go out and about, you go into stores, network, talk to people, talk to somebody. Hey, how you doing today? You looking sharp, you looking good, or you looking stressed maybe, and see if you can help them out. That's how you start to build you and build the relationship that you have with other individuals. Now what I want you to do is you need to do that with each of the 5 areas of your life. So let's take a look at your faith. Now, if I say to myself, okay, you know what? This is where I'm at in my faith. I'm just learning, about, for example, about God. I'm just learning about God. How do I get, deeper connection with my spiritual side? How do I connect better? That's where I'm starting, right? Because I'm like fresh out. So the next part is use what I have. Well, what do I have? I do have a Bible. I do have Google. I do have television, so I can start, looking up things. I can start doing some research. I can capture a session, a sermon, or something. I can talk to, my sister, my brother, my friends, somebody about what I'm about to do, and then just do it. Same thing with the next one, your fitness, mentally. What are you doing for your mental health? It's not just about, oh, let me go and, I'm just gonna, de-stress. Well, how are you gonna do that? There has to be more. Finances. Are you saving? Are you not? Are you growing your money? Are you building wealth? Or are you just spending it all? Are you investing in yourself, right? Are we investing? And then of course, your fun. What are you doing for fun? A lot of people think oh yeah, I'm doing self-care once a week. Really? Once a month? What? Once a quarter? Oh no, stop it right now. Self-care is a daily thing. You wash your hair. That's self-love, baby. And when you love yourself, you're going to take care of yourself. You take a nap. You breathe intentionally, not I see posts that says just breathe. No, you can't just breathe. That's something that you do regularly, is just breathe. But when you intentionally breathe, you're inhaling the oxygen properly. You're taking the time to soak it all in. You're taking the time to hold it, let it spread throughout your body and circulate that good stuff, that goodness from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And then when you're exhaling, you're removing all the toxin, you're breathing out all the negativity, you're letting all that stuff go. So when you think about starting where you are, using what you have and doing what you can, let's be intentional about everything that we do. And we're not just going to throw it all in one big ball. We're going to look at the 5 areas of you, because each area of you needs attention intentionally. And that's the only way that you are going to get to live life on your own terms, because you're starting with yourself. Okay. All right. That is all I have. Again, my name is Myrtha Dubois. If you'd like to, know a little bit more about me, let's spend a moment together, a virtual moment. I can put my link on the comment section, or I can give it to Haley. I'm also in the group, so I'll be sharing that in the group. Look for me in the group, and we can chat on that. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram. Let's meet. Let's talk. Let's network, and let's grow so we can all live life on our own terms. Mwah!
Wow, Martha, you really brought it today. Thank you so much for that. Uh, those tidbits. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can in the 5 areas. I love the F's, the faith, the family, the fitness, the finances, and the fun. What are you doing in those areas of your life, Martha? That was completely just eye-opening too, to know that I could use those 3 columns to literally write out my goals for those areas. And I don't need anything big. I don't need anything major. I could start with what I have, and I can use what I have, and I could do what I can right now. Wow, that is awesome. So, Martha, I know that you're in when we know that we're going to be seeing you around, but for those people who are watching in other spaces, because we are streaming on YouTube and a couple other places, can you come back on and just share with us how we can connect with you for a virtual moment?
Absolutely. I am on calendar. Is it possible to, Miss Walker? I'm gonna call you Sisterpreneur. Is it possible to put down my link in the chat for everyone to see? Is that good?
Yes, that'll be good for the Facebook chat, but for those people who are not on
On
Facebook, maybe they're on YouTube. Do you have like, how can they find you on Facebook? First and
on
last name, maybe?
first and last name, Myrtha Dubois.
There you go.
Myrtha Dubois. I make it easy. I make it simple. I don't make it easy. I make it
Yeah,
simple. Myrtha Dubois.
yeah.
Dubois.
There you go. There you have it, guys. If you are looking for one of those virtual moments and you want to catch up with Myrtha Dubois and spend some time with her, please follow her on social media at Myrtha Dubois on Facebook. And for those of us who are on Facebook and for those of us who are on WIN, she's promising to put that link in the chat for her calendar. So thank you guys so much. We do have a couple of quick comments for you, Miss Myrtha, before you go.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We have a lot of people that enjoy what you said, and I think the key word, everybody's saying breathe. They love the breathe and how meditation is great. Also, faith, family, fitness, and fun. Also, do you have French connections, Martha Dubois? I love France, and speaking French.
I do have French connections. I do. I do.
Awesome. There you have it. There you have it. Well, I can't wait for you to connect with the other people in the chat. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We'll be sure to connect with you, and your presentation was fantastic. So thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, so that's it. That you have it, guys. Are you guys getting a lot of nuggets? Because this is just amazing. And the amazingness is not even close to being done because we have our next speaker that is on the line that is ready to pour into us. Miss Marilyn Slinkman. Miss Marilyn, how you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am great. Just taking over Win Channel for my girl Haley, and it's an honor. And I'm so excited to hear what you have for us today. So feel free, take it away.
Well, thank you for having me. You are doing a great job. I will introduce myself. I'm Marilyn Slinkman. I am a entrepreneur. My company is 20 years old, so I guess I have survived the bumps and the bruises. I'm a retired IT executive, and I'm a big storyteller. So I'm going to tell you a little story today. It's a true story, and it is something that happened to me as a little girl that has affected me through my entire life, which is a long time. So, a little background, I grew up in Queens, New York, and I am one of two kids. I grew up very, very poor. I lived in a building that had middle class families, but we were struggling because my dad was very, very ill and had cancer and couldn't work for a long time. And my mom worked in the city. And so my older sister was kind of like a mom for me. And I tried very hard to excel at things and be good at things. And I really didn't do well in school. But I had an opportunity to go to a girls' camp that was very prestigious for 3 summers. And the summer that I was 11 years old, which was, I'm not going to tell you the year, it would age me, but the summer that I was 11 years old, I was absolutely determined to do something good and excel at something. I was away from the school environment, but this camp was populated by upper middle class kids, and everyone knew that I was the charity kid. I didn't have the clothes that they had, I didn't have the equipment that they had, I didn't even have opportunities that they had. But because of the way I was dressed, and I was a little unkempt at that time, the girls figured it out. My peer group knew right away that I was the charity kid. So about halfway to 3/4 of the way into camp, we had a parents' day, and there were lots and lots of events that were going to take place. It was a girls' camp, and it was about 2 hours away from where I lived. Well, my very ill dad made it a point to drive to watch the events of Parents' Day. And I had to do some planning ahead of time because I didn't have tools, I didn't have resources. So they were going to have a fishing contest. And I didn't have a fishing pole. A lot of these girls had poles and all the little boxes and the little vests. I didn't have any of that. So I had to come up with an idea. So for about a week, every night and every day after our meals, I would confiscate, I'm using that word generously, a couple of slices of bread, and I would tuck them away. I would hide them in my little trunk, and I built up a week's supply of bread. Well, it was getting very, very close to the big day, and I needed tools besides the bread to fulfill my mission. So I went to the chow hall manager and I asked him if I could have a couple of margarine bowls, and they looked something like this. So he was very generous, gave me 2 margarine bowls, butter bowls, and I washed them out and I dried them and I took care of them. And the big day comes, it's Parents' Day. I knew my dad was out in the crowd somewhere. There were about 200 campers in my age group. This was a huge camp. And we were all assembled at the lake on the dock, and the girls are lining up for this contest that I wanted to enter. And they got their poles and they got their worms and their can of corn, and everybody's dressed to the nines. And I came in my little t-shirt and shorts, and I had my bowls and I had my bread. And the girls spent an enormous amount of time getting ready for this contest. So they marked the start of the contest by blowing a horn. They blew it. And the girls started trying to get the worms or the corn on their hook. And I laid face down onto the dock with my head hanging over the dock, with my bowls in my hand and a piece of bread in my mouth. And I would lean over and I would drop the piece of bread, and the fishy would come up to get it, and I would get him in the bowls just like that. And I put it in my bucket, which had water in it. And then I'd put the bowl down, put another piece of bread in my mouth, and then capture the next fish intact, unharmed, in the bowls, dump it in my bucket. Well, after the 5-minute time, some of the girls were still trying to bait their hook, get it cast off. Some of the girls maybe had a fish. Many girls had no fish, because all the fish were coming to me, who was dropping bread one after another. Well, I got 30 fish in 5 minutes, and I won that contest. And I remember distinctly, the camp counselors came over to me and held my hand, my arm up straight up so that everybody knew I was the winner. They were in awe. And I remember I turned around and looked for my dad in the crowd, and I spotted him in a beach chair, and he was just in shock, as were many of the parents, that a kid that didn't have the tools to get the job done won the contest. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with her adult life? Well, I had to think outside the box. I had to think about something where I could get resources that weren't traditional. I had to think about, how am I going to execute this? I had to develop a plan. It gave me confidence winning that contest. It gave me courage, which I already had, but I didn't know I had it. And it gave me clarity that, hey, I'm not that little, poor underachiever. I used my brain power and a few things to get a job done and to excel. And I will tell you, that experience stayed with me my entire life. It helped me know that no matter how difficult the task, there might be an untraditional way to solve the task, to get it done, and not necessarily follow the crowd. So in my professional career, it served me very, very well. In my personal life, it served me well. And that is how I'm going to tell you that think outside the box. Don't care about what anybody else says or comments, or they want to put in their 2 cents. You go with your gut. You go with whatever idea comes in your head. And as a means to an end, I retired from a very lucrative career at one of the top IT companies here in the Triangle. And I gave it all up to become a starving artist, because making jewelry is my jam. And this is what I love to do. And so I am in my studio right now, which is in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I have a Facebook group. Got lots of customers. I've been doing jewelry for 20 years. And I teach at various venues around the Triangle at every level, and have lots and lots of friendships that have been born out of my business. And people trust me to design certain things for them for special occasions, bridal. They put their trust in me, just like my customers put their trust in me when I was a professional IT person. They put their trust in me to do the right thing, to think outside the box, to be creative. And I got to tap into that creative side about 20 years ago. Didn't even know I had it, just took up jewelry making as a hobby. And now it's what I do every day, and I love it. So they say, do what you love and the rest will follow. And I have to agree with that. I make my own hours. There is so much to be said. I risked it all, and I'm still here 20 years later. So a couple of ways to reach me. You can find me on Facebook, personal, Marilyn Slinkman. You can find my business group, which is very, very active, under Carolina Pearl LLC. And I'm on Instagram on Carolina Pearl LLC. and a couple of other places, but I don't post much. I do have a website, carolinapearl.com, which, by the way, Haley built for me. Yay! She did a great job. She captured my vibe, and everything about my business is incorporated into that phenomenal website. And I'm open to taking any questions anyone might have. I am a pearl specialist. I'm actually a certified pearl specialist. I went to school to become one, and I'm a designer, and I make one of a kind. Nothing is identical. So if you get a piece from me, no one else is going to have it, which begs me to be more creative and more creative and more creative, because I don't mass produce. So hit me up if you have any questions, comments. I can't see the comments right now, but I'm very interested to hear and see them. That's
Wow.
me in a nutshell. Go for it is my motto. Go for it.
Well, first off, I just have to say, you were dropping pearls this whole time.
Thank you.
So it was really great to hear your story, and the fishing story was phenomenal because who would ever think to do something like that? And when you talk about thinking outside of the box, if that was in the dictionary, I believe that your picture would be right next to it.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
because we all have to step outside of the box sometimes, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes we're afraid of stepping outside of the box. So I say, just throw the whole box away. Why do we need a box anyway, right?
Well,
And so,
fear is a big motivator.
yeah,
It is a big motivator. You don't realize it because you're inundated with negative when you're fearful, but
yeah,
it's actually a motivator.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was my pleasure. I share this story as frequently as I can because it is a true story.
yeah.
But I left that camp a changed young lady. I really did. I changed in many, many ways, especially the confidence factor.
Yeah.
And I have been accused of being overly confident now. I'm sorry, I thought I turned it off.
No,
Sorry
that's
about
okay.
that.
It sounds like that moment really changed your life and your trajectory, and it really taught you how to interact with people in the world around you when it comes to problem solving. And it showed you at a young age how you can go in and win. And when I
Yeah,
say win, not WEN, I'm talking about WIN,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
we win here at Win. And one of the things that I did also want to just throw out there is I love the fact that you said that Haley built your website.
yeah,
And as everybody knows, Haley is a master of digital marketing as well as website design. And she has a whole entire team that gets together and really works to capture the essence of everyone's personality, their goals, and their vision of what it is that they really want their business to look like to customers and to clients and things of that nature. So I think that that's really awesome. And for those of you who are in business and you might still be looking for a website, Marilyn's in love with her website. I
oh
highly
yeah,
recommend that they get in touch with Haley. Would you also say the same thing, Marilyn?
yeah. And I wanted to add something, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
critical to my success with my website. Before I met Haley and hired her, I hired the wrong company. And they built a website for me, which was totally non functional. It was half baked at best. It had lots of problems in the coding, deep buried into the coding, and it never worked. And unfortunately, I paid them everything before it was completed because it was Christmas time and they had young kids. And I fell into that, oh my gosh, I want them to have a good Christmas. So I was left with a product that totally did not work. And I started interviewing web developers, and I kept Haley's card in my back pocket, and it was gnawing at me, gnawing at me. And she and her team took over a horrific project.
Yeah.
I know she's probably kicking herself right now because it was a mess. They made my website look like it was from Tiffany's, and that is not my vibe. My vibe is cool, casual, coastal. That's it. And she captured it all, even down to the color scheme.
Yeah.
So if you if you have yourself in that situation, don't be embarrassed. We all make mistakes. It took me a couple of months to make that decision to hire the right person. So I give her accolades all day long for fixing a nightmare.
Well, we know that Haley's one of the best people when it comes to fixing nightmares, and maybe we need to get a hashtag going. Haley fix this. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Well,
but yeah, for those people who are interested in checking out your website, it is carolinapearl.com. Is that correct?
yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook all day long. So please don't forget, find me personally, Marilyn Slinkman. I love to connect with other businesswomen, entrepreneurs. Socially, I've made so many friends through these mediums, and also Carolina Pearl LLC on Facebook. I have a group. You won't get spammed. I would love to have more folks on board. And yeah, this has been a great ride, I have to say. And the next time we do this, I have another story to tell how I came upon the company name, but that's for another day. It's a great story.
Well, we can't wait to hear it, and we will be connecting with you, Marilyn.
Great.
Thank you so
Great.
much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that wonderful story and for the pearls that you dropped about storytelling and thinking outside the box, and then finally doing what you love to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you how much more you'll be in alignment if you are really finding out how to align your passion, your purpose to your daily activities. It is such a great feeling. I hope everybody gets an opportunity to experience that part of life, to just know and to wake up every morning to know that you are doing what you absolutely are called to do and that you love to do. So check out Carolyn's website, carolinapearl.com. Also, if you are somebody that's in need of a website or if you are dealing with a nightmare, Haley's probably going to hate me for saying this, but find Haley. She can fix it for you. Um, her website is intuitivebiz.com. So you can find her at the number two, ITIVEBIZ.com. That's where you're going to be able to connect with Haley. She does everything websites, everything digital marketing. She can help you get your business on track and she can help you learn how to connect with other people. She's a huge connector. She's connected everybody with this really big old group that we are all in. And that's how we all became friends because Haley started this group. So amazing, amazing, amazing. I hope you guys are having so much fun here at WEN-Talk. I definitely am having fun taking over WEN-Talk for Haley. It's been so cool just actually connecting with our past three speakers, learning about them, hearing their stories. And I hope you guys are able to make some connections as well because that's what it's about. How can you actually talk to people if you're not connecting with them? Let's connect more and let's share our stories more. So, with that being said, we have some other great speakers that are going to be joining the stage here shortly. We want to make sure that everybody is able to connect. Please know that you can make a comment in the chat. We are here. We can see you live. Please, please, please give us a connection. And it looks like our new next speaker has graced the stage. Stacey, I am so glad that you're here and you are absolutely killing it in that red. And so that means you are bringing power and fiery goodness to the win stage today. Thank you so much for being here. I will let you introduce yourself, and I'm excited to hear your story.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. You're doing a
Absolutely.
fantastic job hosting it, so it's a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying the other speakers. So,
Yes, thank you.
to introduce myself, my name is Stacey Hylen, and I'm a business coach. I have been coaching for over 20 years. So, like one of the other speakers said, made it through all those bumps and bruises. Been there, done that. I work with high achieving business owners to help them add a zero without the hustle. So I've taken clients from 0 to 6 figures, 6 to 7 figures, and I've even helped people go all the way from 6 figures to 8 figures in their business. Now, in the last 20 years, I also served as vice president of consulting with Tony Robbins. So when she said I'm wearing the red and bringing the energy, that's because I'm a former Tony Robbins person. So it's all about that big energy, right? And so most people ask me when I say that I worked with Tony, they say, well, what was it like working with Tony? And they want to know about it. But what I think is that the really smart people want to know what I learned from working with Tony, because he has $1 billion in businesses. That's what most people don't realize. So who wants to know what I learned working with Tony? Because I'm going to share some of those gems with you today. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about is how to easily find the hidden profits in your business so that you can add some cash to your business before the end of the year. Who loves to have cash before the holidays come up, right? Everybody. So that's why when I was like, November, this is perfect timing for this. So, as a business owner, the challenge is that we have to do everything. There's so many things to do. And what I hear from a lot of people is that it's not working as well as they want. You see the bright and shiny, what I call Insta coaches on Facebook, on Instagram, and they're saying, oh, just do this little thing. I made $10,000. You can make $10,000. It's not a proven system. They've done one thing one time, and then they're trying to teach it to other people. And so you want to be a lot more strategic in what you're doing. So this leads me to what happened when I worked with Tony. So it was 2008 and the start of the last recession. And we were at the very first business mastery event in Las Vegas. People had paid $10,000 to be there. People were a little bit panicked at this point. So if you were in business back then, you probably remember this, that, all of a sudden the banks weren't lending money anymore, which is just starting to happen since last week with all the crypto meltdown. And so Tony had somebody stand up in the audience to get coaching. Now, when he did this, the guy stood up and said, I've tried everything and nothing works. Right? And that's the thing, as a business owner, you're trying a little of this, you're trying a little of that, and it doesn't work. So Tony asked him if he was open for coaching, and the guy said yes. So Tony said, well, tell me, what have you tried? And the guy said, well, I tried this, like 2 or 3 things. So Tony paused, and then he said, well, okay, you've tried 2 or 3 things. How many times did you try? And he said, well, I've tried like 2 or 3 times. So at this point, everybody in the audience is like, uh-oh, like Tony's going to his head is going to start to spin, because the guy said, I've tried everything. And he tried 2 or 3 things 2 or 3 times. Right. So what Tony asked him, he said, why didn't you try again? Or what stopped you from keeping going when you didn't have the resource? And he said, I didn't have the resources. And that brings back to Marilyn catching the fish, right? She got really resourceful. And so Tony said, have you ever seen anybody be more successful than you with less when they started? And the guy said, well, yeah, you see on the covers of Entrepreneur or Success Magazine, you see entrepreneurs that started with nothing. They came to this country with $300 in their pocket, and now they're multi-million-dollar businesses. And Tony said, so here's the thing. It wasn't that you didn't have enough resources. It was that you weren't resourceful. And everybody in the audience was like, oh, right? So it's like Marilyn with that bread that she caught the fish. And so this is what I want for you, is to become more resourceful, not to flit around trying a bunch of different things. So when the things that you look at what you've tried, maybe you've tried webinars, maybe you've tried challenges, maybe you've tried Facebook ads, all these things that people are like, this is the magic bullet, this is the thing, versus staying in the challenge and becoming resourceful with it. So what I want you to do is look at your business that you have right now. And if you already have clients, these hidden profit challenge are going to help you so much, because you are overlooking money that's right there in your business right now. Now, the average person that takes one of my hidden profit programs, they find $85,000 in hidden profit in their business. Now, what I mean by hidden profit, these are things that you can do for a quick bump in cash without doing any more marketing or advertising, zero. And so that's what's awesome about it, because the ROI is great. So what we're going to do is today, I'm going to take you through as many as I can in the short amount of time that Haley's given us here to help you find some of this money in your business. So one of the things that are working really, really well for my clients. So the first one is what I call the fear factor. The fear factor is raising your rates. Now, you're seeing a lot of people saying like, do high ticket, do this. What I want you to do is look at what you have in your business and say, no, that if you've been doing it for a while and you are an expert at what you do, that it is time to raise your rates. The rates, everything's, going up. You've heard of the inflation, whether it's butter, whether it's broccoli, it doesn't matter. Things are increasing in price, and you as a business owner need to be doing this as well. Now, some of my business owners, when we first start coaching, they might not have raised their rates for 7 years or 3 years. It doesn't matter. It's time to raise your rates. So here's the first thing that you need to do. And I want you to write this down because this is really important. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to own your value, right? Because the reason why I called this fear factor is everything goes back to mindset. Is that if you do not have that mindset in place when you do this strategy, you're just going to try it and then you're going to run to the next thing. You're going to try it and run to the next thing. You need to have the mindset that this is going to work for you. And here's why. So here's some of the things that you're going to do. You're going to open a file either on your computer or do it in paper, old-fashioned way. But I want you to collect every single testimonial you've ever gotten. I want you to collect every single win that you've had. Like, what are the wins that you've had in your business? What are some of the ahas that people have had? What are some of the positive feedback that you've received that you haven't even noted? Like it's an American thing, a North American thing. We just slough off those compliments, right? We don't celebrate the wins. I had a client that had started with me when he was at 6 figures and he got to 8 figures. And he literally just in conversation said, oh yeah, we hit $10 million today. I forgot. He did not stop to celebrate hitting $10 million. So this is why this part is so important, to get this file of all of the wins. Like, take a snapshot for yourself of all of the good things you're doing, because this is what's going to help your mindset when you go to raise your rates. Okay, so you're going to have this folder, keep adding to it. Every time you get a win, every time you get a compliment, throw it in there. And not just for raising your rates. Anytime you're having a hard day in business, you get that out and look at it. Okay, so now the second step is to decide how much you're going to raise your rates. Now, there's different ways to do this. The first way is to do it by percentage. So you're going to raise your rates 10%, 20%, or you could raise it by a dollar amount. So you might want to go, from $50 to $79, whatever that price point may be. Now, some of my clients, they've actually raised their business. They've doubled and tripled their business and halved the amount of time they're working from doing this. Okay, so I'll give you an example with somebody that did this. Chiropractor, super simple. $5 price increase. And you're like, $5? That's nothing, right? So I just wanted to show you how small this can be. And this is the hidden profit math that's really, really important to do. So $5 a session, she raised the price, 70 patients a week at 50 weeks per year that she works is $17,500 in increase in her business without doing another piece of marketing, without spending another dollar on anything. Now, times that times 2 doctors in her practice, it was over $35,000 in increases, right? So that's just a $5 increase. I wanted to break this down to the absolutely ridiculous for you so you can see. So what I want you to do is decide what you want to raise it, multiply that times the amount of clients that you normally have, and then look at what that number is going to be, which is going to pull you towards it. Tony always says you do things for 2 reasons: to avoid pain, right? Which is what we're doing with the win folders. We're avoiding that pain. We're focusing on the pleasure, and to move towards something that you want. So you're putting out that price to see what the possibility of it is, the hidden profit. So it gives you the courage to move towards it. And then you're going to announce that rate increase. So you're going to choose a deadline, and you're going to announce the rate increase and let people know about it. And this is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to give you a line in the sand as a business owner that you know what date it's going to happen, right? Because you've announced it. Number two, all of your clients are going to see it, and they're going to buy before the price goes up, right? So it's going to give you a quick boost in sales right now at the current pricing, and then you're going to get the boost after you increase the prices in the future. Now, one of the things people ask me is like, what about my existing clients? Now you have a choice there, right? This is your business. You can either raise the rates for everybody, or you can decide to have some legacy pricing for people that have already been your clients, that you're going to keep that pricing for them, but you're always going to let them know what the new rate is. So they can see like, oh, I'm paying $500, but the new pricing is $600. It's going to make them want to stay with you longer. Okay. So that's the easy way to do it. I want you to do this even if you're scared, right? It's normal. People are scared about this. They're worried about what people are going to say. My clients were scared. The ones that have doubled and tripled their businesses in working half the amount of time, they were scared. Now they come to coaching sessions with me and they'll say, you know what? I've gotten a bunch of clients at this rate and it feels really easy. I think it's time to raise my rates again. So that's what I want for you, is to feel really confident with this and that you step into doing this on a regular basis. All right. So that's one of the hidden profits. And that's going to be in my book that's coming out in the new year. So I'm really excited that you're going to be able to see all of the hidden profits with all of the steps of how to do them. So the second one is what I call the come on back strategy. Now, this strategy started from a mistake, the $700,000 mistake. I had a client and he canceled his coaching session, and that doesn't normally happen. So I was a little bit surprised. And he said, well, I have to cancel it because I just got this big client, $100,000 sale. So in my coaching business, we always do the happy dance. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to do a happy dance, $100,000 client. And he's like, Stacey, this was not a happy dance moment. And I said, well, how could a $100,000 sale not be a happy dance moment? And this is when the learning came. He said, this client that just bought the $100,000 thing had been going to my competitor for the last 7 years. 7 years. So he had lost $700,000 in sales by not noticing when clients left and bringing them back into the business. Okay. So most people, again, it goes back to the mental mindset. Most people don't do this because they're too shy, they're too scared, they're worried about what people will think. I'll give you an example. So if you've ever gone to a hairdresser, type hairdresser in the chat, and you've left and gone to another hairdresser, what happens is most people will not go back to the first hairdresser. And here's why. They're shy. They don't want to make them feel bad. Well, the same thing is happening in your business. Now, when I asked a bunch of hairdressers when I was doing a speaking gig, like, how do you feel when people come back? They're like, we always welcome people back. Like, it's normal to, you can't get an appointment, so you just want to change, whatever. We're happy to have you back. So what you want to do is you want to give your clients permission to come back to you. Now, I'll give you an example. One of my clients had taken my Hidden Profits program, and it was at Christmas time, and she was in the very worst niche to try to get clients to come back over Christmas. Can anybody guess what it was? Like, I would love to see in the chat what you guys think that might be. Here's what it was. It was weight loss, right? Because everybody wants to lose weight, but they don't want to lose weight at Christmas. They don't want to skip grandma's cookies or the holiday parties or whatever it is that their traditions are, right? But she was an implementer, and she said, I'm going to do this. I really need to do this. I need a boost in cash. So what we did is we made a list, and this is your action step. So write this down. Write a list of the clients that have left that you want to have come back. And I'm a big believer in only working with your perfect clients. So if you have some nightmare clients that you don't want back, do not put them on the list. So you're going to make a list of these clients, and then you're going to create an offer for them, a special come on back offer. And then all you're going to do is reach out to them. You can do this in an email sequence. You can do it in a phone call. You can do a little personalized video for them and create a deadline for it. So here's the come on back offer that I have for you. And it's good until this time so that they know when that offer is good through. And one thing I will tell you is, you know, who are really good at this is dentists, right? Because nobody wants to go back to the dentist. They hate it. So they'll call you, they'll send you a postcard, any kind of medical, they have a lot of systems for this. But regular business owners are not doing this. And this is a huge hidden profit. Now, here's what happened with that client in the weight loss. Remember, nobody wants weight loss at Christmas? She increased her sales over $10,000 in 2 weeks. And then in the new year, she went on to increase even more because people that didn't come back right away came back in the new year when they were ready. But it also put her to the top of them, you know, remembering that she was out there existing. And also, they didn't go and try another weight loss program in January because they were like, oh, she's going to welcome me back, even if I've gained a few pounds back. So make sure you put this into your calendar that you're going to do this when clients have been gone for 6 months, a year, whatever it is in your business. It depends on your business, how long that time frame is. That's good to keep welcoming them back. But it's great to get a good boost in cash flow right away, right now to do this. And so that's the second way to get cash before the holidays. So I'm going to give you one more way. I'm trying to get all of these in for you so you can choose. You can choose one of the hidden profits. You can stack these, right? And if you stack them, you're going to get even more. So the third one is an upsell. What I call, you want fries with that? So when I was a kid, McDonald's, you know, my mom would take us there and we would get a hamburger, one of those little tiny hamburgers. And then they started saying, do you want fries with that? And what they found is that a huge percentage of people, 30-40% of the people, and I think even more, would say yes to the French fries. Now, what has happened is a lot of these fast food places now offer trios. That's just how they do it. Now you don't even buy just a hamburger. You go in and say, I want the, you know, cheeseburger trio or the Big Mac trio, whatever it is. So now they're offering to supersize it, or they're offering you an apple pie or something else. So an upsell is increasing the sale at the time of purchase. Okay. So when your clients are making a buying decision, they already have their wallets open. They're already excited about it. That's the best time to ask them to make another purchase. So I'll give you an example of one of my clients. He had, a business, a brick and mortar business. He had a very bad team that in his intake questionnaire, he was telling me all the problems that he had with this. And he also had some big box competitors that had come into his town and were doing, you know, big television ads, billboards, everything. And he was a, you know, small store. He couldn't do it. So when I got the first call with him, I said, all right, well, we're going to have to like reorganize your staff and get rid of, you know, clean house. And he said, Stacey, I cannot get rid of these employees. He said, number one, it was in the recession. Number two, some of them were his uncles. They were like 80 years old. They would never find another job. Other ones were his nephews. He said, I would not be able to hold my head up in church if I let go of my team, especially during this economic place that we're at right now. So this is, again, where I put on that resourceful hat, right? Of how can we make more money with the existing resources we have and put in an upsell. So here's how you're going to do this. You create a list of your top products or services that you offer. You choose one. In his case, we chose oil changes because that was his most popular thing. People would come in to do a do-it-yourself oil change. Now I knew nothing about cars, nothing. Well, I mean, I know a little, but I didn't know what the upsell should be. We determined the best upsell was an air filter, right? So all we did was choose the number one product, choose the upsell, And then we created a little script for his team to use. Say, when you get the oil change is a really good time to add an air filter. Would you like to add an air filter at the same time? It helps with gas mileage. It helps with cooling, blah, blah, blah. He put the benefits to that in it. In 1 month, he increased his sales 48% and the really exciting thing about this was not only did he increase his sales 48%, but he increased it over the year before that was recession time, right? Pre-competitor time. So he was so excited. So I'll give you one more example of this just so you can see how you can do this. There was a mom and pop restaurant in the middle of very rural Pennsylvania. The father and daughter owned it, and the daughter was dead set against the coaching. And so we had to really prove ourselves. This is one of the hidden profit coaches that had this client. And so what we did is we implemented a $5 appetizer upsell. $5, right? Small little things make huge results. In 1 month, it led to an extra $2,000 in sales. So that's an extra $24,000 in sales over a year with one question. Okay. Now you can do this online as well. Whenever you're selling something, look at what is the natural upsell for that product and put it on the checkout as well. So a good place to look at an example of doing that everybody can look at is GoDaddy, that when you register a domain, they're going to say, do you want a website builder tonight? Don't say yes. Do you want an email? Don't say yes, right? But they're going to ask you if you want all of those other things. They're doing their job to ask you about the upsell. So again, you're going to do the top products. You're going to create the upsell for that and then create a script and then just do it. Just do it. So, I can't wait, and tell me in the WEN group how much you've found in hidden profits. Again, do that hidden profit math of like, okay, if I sell 10 of these and 30% of them take the upsell, what is that increase in sales that I'm moving towards, right? You want to have something to move towards, something to help you with that fear of doing a new strategy in your business. And I welcome you to follow me, Stacey Hylen, and my last name is Hylen, Hylen, help you leverage everything now. My website is staceyhylen.com. Or if you want a checklist of all the ways that you can boost your clients and cash very quickly, go to moreclientsandcash.com, and I have a free checklist there. And there's ways for you to very quickly increase your clients in cash. So I can't wait to see what you've done. Feel free to reach out to me. And remember, don't just learn. You guys have spent the time here today listening to all the speakers. Don't just learn, implement, because that's how you're going to make a difference in your business and also in your family's lives.
Wow, that was amazing. Stacey, I have 3 pages of what someone said gold dust that you just came and sprinkled into the WEN talk today. Thank you so much for all of those nuggets. That's right. You do have some comments here. So
Okay, great.
Jenna Marie's been very active today. She says, this is so huge. She says, I've completed with so many clients over the past few years that I would love to reconnect with. So that was your come on back,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
what she's talking
definitely.
about.
And
And
again,
then,
people might be shy to go back to you because they've tried another virtual assistant service and they just want to know that it's okay that they can come back, right? Give
give
them a good
people
reason.
permission, right?
Yeah.
You're giving them permission to do so. And Diane says, this is gold dust. She says, upsells, air filter, brilliant. I can hear her talking right now and laughing. Yeah, and they're saying create a script and just do it. It's literally that simple. One of the things I liked you said was to actually pick your top favorite products, the ones that are probably selling the most, and just add it and then list out the features and benefits and do it in a comfortable way. And more than likely your folks are going to say, yeah, that it's it's so easy to do that. That is, I love the way that you put that.
Thank
Everybody's
you.
saying thank you so much. Haley says don't just learn, implement. Yes,
Yeah, just
implement.
choose one. You have like 3
Yeah.
pages of notes. Choose one and just do it right away. And then put on your calendar, okay, I'm going to add another one.
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
that's really important, because these, like I said, the average client finds $85,000 in these hidden profits in their business. So
Yeah. Yeah. Her name is Stacey Hylen, Hylen. Someone's just asking about your name again because obviously they love what you're saying. And they're like, we want to connect with her. So thank you so much, Miss Stacey. You have been phenomenal today. The tips that you've given are amazing. And I can't wait to connect with you personally offline. And I'm quite sure other people are going to want to connect with you too. So thank you so much for your time today.
thanks for having
Um,
me. Have a great
and
day,
we can
everybody.
find you on social media at Stacey Hylen, right?
Stacey Hylen, there's only one of me, so I'm super easy to find. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Stacey Hylen, or you can go to the moreclientsandcash.com for the checklist.
You got it.
All right.
We love checklists. Thank you so much, Stacey. It's
Thank
been
you,
a
everybody.
pleasure. Listen, everybody, if you missed that last section, you are going to want to watch the replay. But coming up next, we're not stopping with the awesomeness. We have our next speaker that's joining me on the stage, Dr. Joe. Welcome to WEN-Talk.
So
We
much.
are so excited to see you
Thank
here.
you. I'm glad to be here.
And yeah, we can't wait to hear what you got for us. So I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be talking about loving our body as it is and releasing body shame. I want to start with a few questions. How many of you love your body as it is right now? How many of you have ever loved your body? And when did you first become aware of your body not being quite right? What about the first time you became conscious of your body as a sexual object and then lost your ability to be carefree and childlike, to be embodied in your body? These are important things that we need to ask ourselves and reflect on as women and as human beings. If we think about it, beauty is a construct in our society, and we get to decide how we want to define beauty. So I'm encouraging all of us to reject societal standards of beauty and diet culture and release body shame and decide that what we see in the mirror is beauty. And how can we do this? Well, I've got some ideas today that I'll share with you. First, I want to share why this is important to me. When I was 12 years old, I was hospitalized for anorexia. At the time, I didn't know what eating disorders were. I just thought that I was crazy. When I was in treatment, I discovered that I was passionate about mental health disorders and also that I wanted to help people when I grew up. So that was a gift. I also learned that eating disorders, like all addictions and most mental health illnesses, are chronic. And I dealt with anorexia throughout most of my life. My most recent treatment was in 2009, 2010. And that was when recovery solidified for me. And a big part of that was yoga. So one day I went into the yoga body image class, and as I went into warrior two pose, I had this very profound thought. I don't have to loathe my body. And in that moment, I could feel the muscles in my legs. I could feel the breath in my lungs and the shoulders, the muscles in my shoulders. And it was so profound because I had been living from the neck up for so many years. I was embodied. And at that moment, I decided this is going to be my life. I am going to be back in my body. And I also decided I was going to become a yoga teacher. And the day after I left treatment, I started my yoga teacher training, the first of many trainings. So now I incorporate that in my coaching work. So we need to change our bodies. We think we need to only because society tells us to. You know, consider that in other countries, other cultures, large-bodied women are considered the ideal. In part, that has to do with the availability of food. In societies where there is a lack of food, larger women are revered because they are the wealthy class. So it's just something to think about. And looking at our own history of the ideal body image, our first ideal body we could think of is the Willendorf woman, who was carved, a 4-inch statue carved somewhere between 25,000 to 22,000 BCE. And she was very large in the hips, stomach, and belly. However, she had no face, so that's kind of interesting to think about. Then in ancient Greece, full hips and waist were ideal, as in the Renaissance era. During the Elizabethan era, around 1558, the paler you were in skin tone, the more beautiful you were, since a tan indicated that you worked outside. So wealthier women were careful to put on white powder to demonstrate their indoor lifestyle. They also wore red lipstick because that was said to be alluring and also ward off evil spirits, even death. Then in the Victorian era, around 1837, beautiful women were frail and weak looking. By the 1890s, women had large breasts, were pale again, and they wore corsets. In the 1920s, when women gained the right to vote, they started to have boyish bodies and cut their hair because they wanted more freedom. And then in the 50s, a curvier body, Marilyn Monroe, became popular. Then the ideal body image shrank in the 1960s, and for a specific reason. Women were gaining power in the workforce, and patriarchy was getting nervous. So what better distraction than to shrink the ideal woman and explode the male-owned diet and cosmetics industry so that women were busy beautifying themselves rather than taking over men's positions. We also need to understand eating disorders and disordered eating. So at this moment, 9% of the American population has a diagnosable eating disorder, which includes anorexia, binge eating disorder, bulimia, ARFID, which is a refusal to eat certain foods and can be based on texture, or pica, which is eating non-foods, which is very rare. There's also an eating disorder that isn't yet in the DSM, but it's called orthorexia, and that has to do with an obsession with eating clean foods and living a healthy lifestyle that gets out of hand. However, there are also disordered eating, and that's a full range of behaviors, from eliminating food groups to crash dieting, taking laxatives, exercising after eating to, in a sense, get rid of the calories. And so many of us are on that spectrum of behaviors too, that we really don't think about. And also consider, what would it be like to go through a day only thinking about food in a pleasurable way while we're actually in the process of enjoying food, rather than thinking about when we'll eat next and what we'll eat and how many calories we just consumed. This is not about saying that these behaviors are right or bad or wrong. This is just about heightening our awareness about this issue and increasing our mindfulness. Another thing to consider is BMI charts, which have so many of us on diets and worrying about our weight. The fact is, BMI charts are fairly ridiculous and were developed 200 years ago by a mathematician, not a physician. The math itself is also faulty, and the BMI charts fail to account for things like bone structure, fat versus muscles, individual differences, heredity, etc. Research also suggests that the danger of being overweight is vastly over-exaggerated, and the danger of being underweight is minimized or ignored. The other thing about the charts is that insurance companies use them to charge higher BMI numbers more on their plans. I suggest that you request that your doctor not weigh you at every visit unless it's medically necessary. And also, you don't need to know the number if it causes you stress. That's your right. There's also a movement called Health at Every Size, which encourages acceptance of all body sizes and shapes, rather than the blaming and shaming. So that's something to consider. Specific ideas to improve our body image include wearing comfortable and flattering clothes, buying things that feel good, avoiding media that makes us feel bad about our appearance, and gravitating towards things and putting things into our mind, into our soul that feels good and is nourishing. Putting Post-it notes on our mirror, which is where we most often criticize ourselves. Things that say, you matter, you're beautiful, your body does not define your worth. Any kind of positive affirmation, and giving yourself positive affirmations throughout the day, or mantras that you can repeat throughout the day. I matter. This too shall pass. Anything that brings you comfort. Another thing is singing, using your voice. The vibrations that are created during singing bring comfort and stimulate the vagus nerve, which is also soothing to our nervous system. Also, notice what goes on around you. And if someone criticizes you or says something hurtful, be assertive. Speak up for yourself. And if someone makes a comment or judges another large-bodied person, don't let it slide. Say something. Another thing that I recommend is something I call the mirror exercise. This may be difficult, so you can always work up to it or do certain parts of your body at a time. So after you get out of the shower, take some lotion that you really like that smells good, and start in front of a full-length mirror, if you have one. Start with your feet and apply the lotion to your feet, talking out loud to your feet, saying, thank you, feet, for being so loyal, for taking me from point A to point B, for helping me balance, for connecting me with the earth. And then you can move to your legs, applying the lotion. Thank you, legs, for being so strong, for carrying me, for helping me, for transporting me from places, for traveling with me. Move on to the hips. Thank you, hips, for being wide enough to carry children, for letting me be mobile, for being flexible. And then take some time at the belly, because this is a problem area for a lot of women. Problem as in we struggle with accepting it. I was in a Sufi dance class, and my teacher said something so meaningful to me, or to the class. She said, in our culture, we think we need to have flat, hard abs. She said, that's ridiculous. The belly is meant to have space and room, because it not only digests food, but the material of life. And it's the creation of life. So why would you want to shrink it? It has to have space and room to move and breathe. So I always think of that. Allow room in your belly to digest not only food, but the material of life. So I love that. So spend time rubbing the lotion in the belly and just loving your belly. And continue on until you've completed the whole body. It's a very intimate practice to do with yourself, and it's very soothing and helpful to reclaiming your body. Another thing is embodiment, which I kind of touched on when I was doing yoga. So that is about being present and inhabited in your own body. And it involves interoception and proprioception. So interoception is the ability to notice the senses within you, such as your heartbeat, your hunger and fullness cues. And proprioception is about noticing the environment around you, such as your body moving in space. So ways to increase your embodiment are yoga. I mean, it's a great way because you're moving your body with breath. So it really gets you centered and grounded. Meditation. There are tons of different ways to meditate. That's one of the things I do is I teach a variety of different meditations along with the yoga and coaching. Somatic exercises. I also do some of that. There's somatic experiencing. There's also things like Reiki and other body work. That's very helpful. There's also spending time with family and friends and specifically doing reflective listening. So, a lot of times when we are with people, we are in our head having conversations, we're in our head preparing our response rather than being really present with the person and listening. So, a way to practice this is really pay attention, eye contact, and then listen to the point where you can repeat what the person said. So you're listening to your friend, and then you say, wow, so I heard you say that you're really struggling with getting along with your daughter, and you're hoping that you can really increase the communication by working with a therapist, something like that. And it may sound like you're kind of parroting things back, but I guarantee your friend is going to feel really heard and validated. So that's something you can try. Another thing is to connect to joy. Now, this is a direct relationship to how much you allow yourself to feel uncomfortable emotions. See, we have a certain emotional bandwidth, if you will, and if you only allow yourself a bit of space to feel the uncomfortable emotions before you suppress them or you know, push away. Similarly, you'll only be able to feel a little bit of the joy or happiness before you can't tolerate that. You may not realize that, but that's the case. So practice expanding your emotional range. And in terms of body shame, first we need to address what body shame or what shame is in general. So there's a difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is a helpful emotion because it allows you to shape your decisions. For example, if I steal a candy bar, I'm going to feel guilty because that doesn't align with my values. So I'm probably not going to do it again. Shame, on the other hand, is an irrational thing that is usually internalized by a child before the age of 5 or 7 when they don't have the perspective that everything around them is not about them. So, for example, my dad was an alcoholic. Is an alcoholic. And when I was young, I thought that that was my fault, that I could have done something to make him stop, and I didn't. So the message I internalized was, I'm a bad kid. So the rest of my life, I saw everything through that lens. Now, this is not about blaming my dad or anything like that. It's never about that. It's just about understanding the psyche and dynamics that play into things. So ways to get rid of that internal child shame include things like being aware of the internal narrative. We all have a narrative going on all the time. So becoming aware of that without judgment, just noticing it. Eventually, maybe working with a therapist or coach to reframe and start a new narrative. Also doing things like looking at, because we all have the child part of ourselves, and each age that we were still within us. So, take pictures of your child self or infant self when you're talking negatively to yourself, and then look at the baby picture and say, would I say that to this little innocent baby? You probably wouldn't. It makes it easier to be kind to yourself if you are looking at images of yourself as a kid. Also, remember the differences between guilt and shame. So when you feel really bad about who you are as a person, just remember you're not a bad person when you make a mistake. It's just a mistake, and kind of put things in perspective. Another thing that we need to talk about is the sexualization of the female body and sexual harassment. That plays a big part in body shame. So acknowledging that and dealing with that and addressing it and putting the shame back where it belongs. I realize I'm running out of time. I have so much more to say, but if you want to hear more about this, and in summary, we can release our body shame that holds us back. We can learn to love our body and define beauty for ourselves. And know that all of us are divine beings having a human experience. I would love to share more about this. I have so much more to say, but if you want to learn more, have more opportunities to speak with me or attend workshops or holistic coaching and body positive yoga, my email is joe@tulasoul, TULASOUL.com. And my website is tulasoul.com. So TULASOUL.com. Thank you so much.
Wow. What a powerful message to have today. Joe, because I'm sorry, Dr. Joe,
Oh
because
no, call me Joe.
I think we all have those moments or have had those moments or know people that have these moments. And it's really good to do little things, like you said, with putting the little sticky notes on the
Mhm.
mirror as you brush your teeth,
Yep.
telling yourself really positive things. Yeah, the chat is saying thank you so much for this information because it's powerful and
Yeah.
it's moving. And thank you for your vulnerability to even
Mhm.
share with us what you went through.
Of course.
Please connect with Dr. Joe at tulisol.com. Continue the conversation with her. If you or anybody that you know is struggling with any type of body shame, or feelings of insecurity because of what your body can and cannot do, or looks like, or doesn't look like, please connect with her. Dr. Joe, thank you so much for this
You're welcome.
important message.
Thank you. One more thing, I'd like to recommend NEDA.com, National Eating Disorders Association. So NEDA.com as a resource for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
everyone. Have a wonderful day.
You got it. Well, yeah, guys, that was so powerful. And yeah, it was a much needed conversation to have. And so grateful that we got to have that conversation. But Miss Beata is here to round us out for this WEN-Talk this time. Miss Beata, thank you so much. Welcome to the WEN stage, and it is a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. All the speakers have been fantastic. And I wanted to give a shout out to Marilyn. I didn't even realize she was going to be speaking today, but I happened to be wearing some of her amazing jewelry because I love it. So when I saw her earlier today, I had to chuckle. So shout out to Marilyn for making some amazing jewelry that unfortunately has become a little bit of a bad habit for me. So, but with that, my name is Beata Lawrence. I'm the boutique PM. And for those of you that are not familiar with the vacation rental industry, PM in this case stands for property manager. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. I would like to just share briefly how I got started in this business because it's a little bit of a funny story because it started off as a dream of mine. I really wanted to buy a oceanfront home. And my husband actually legit laughed at me, like full on belly laugh, like you're funny. And I wasn't deterred. So several of the previous speakers talked about being resourceful. So I took it that as a challenge and thought, okay, how can we make this work? And he somewhat jokingly at the time had said to me, if you can figure out how this home can make us money, then sure, you can go ahead and do that. And from the day he said that to the day we closed on our first oceanfront was 90 days. I'd counted. And we are definitely not trust fund babies. I'm actually the daughter of immigrants and pretty much worked for everything I've had. But this was really important to me. So as they say, where there's a will, there's a way. And for me, getting into this industry started off as really just a deep desire and figuring out how to make it work. And since then, I have now really turned it into a business, getting my North Carolina real estate license, which then turned into opening up my own property management firm. And now I'm consulting other people who either are interested in looking into this as an investment and as an industry, or who already own vacation homes and are simply looking to optimize them and monetize them a little bit more. So that being said, I really wanted to talk about the benefits of what I like to call monetizing your vacation home. Because in this industry, we talk about loosely Airbnb, which is just one of the online travel agent, which is what Airbnb is. It's essentially an online travel agency, is really a marketing tool. But the homes in our industry are actually called STRs, which is a short for short-term rental, or I like to call them vacation homes. And so for many people, they own a vacation home or a second home, and that really what it is for them. It's a home that they use to vacation with their loved ones, with their family, with their friends. But many people over the years have started taking that vacation home experience and figuring out how it can not only pay for itself, which is brilliant, but it can also create cash flow in the short term. So that leads me perfectly into one of my top reasons why I think vacation home ownership and having a short-term rental business makes so much sense, is that it creates not only appreciation in that real estate investment, but it also can create right now cash flow. And those two things, I think, make vacation home ownership and monetizing as a short-term rental really amazing, especially right now, because many of us who are investing in the stock market or in other areas are not seeing the kind of cash over cash growth that we've seen in previous years. Generally speaking, real estate continues to appreciate in the long term. Of course, as in all markets, you're going to have ups and downs, and it's not an exactly, a perfect rise, but in general, over time, real estate does appreciate over time. And so getting into the vacation rental industry has two benefits, because you are in the long term capitalizing on that appreciation, but also you are creating cash flow, typically more so than in long-term rentals. The second benefit, one of the ones I love and why a lot of people get into vacation homes, is personal use. So obviously you need to contact your CPA and your tax advisor. I am not a CPA and I don't play one on TV, but you can absolutely benefit from perks and personal use when you have your vacation home. So often you have the benefit of having something you can access and be proud of, and an asset that does truly appreciate over time, but also be able to use it right now, which is amazing. The third one, which is very important to me, is what I like to call harness your inner creative. Now, whether or not you choose to hire someone else to property manage your home for you, or you decide to self-manage, or you decide to buy one in kind of perfect condition right now, or you're choosing to do remodels or upgrades, there are so many things you can do, from actual decor, design, guest experience, where you can really customize it and make it your own. Most people don't realize that right now, you're not only offering a home for rent, but you're actually offering an entire experience. And every single vacation rental and short-term rental is not only has a different vibe and a different decor and different actual amenities, but really offers very different experiences across the board. And for so many people that get into this industry, it's one of the things people love, is that you get to offer creativity into what you're offering as your guest experience, which is really fun for me personally. Next, back to the I am not a CPA and I don't play one on TV, are tax benefits. There are so many tax benefits in getting involved in this business. Everything from expensing travel to some degree. You get to expense anything you are buying for the home in terms of the guest experience, in terms of supplies, in terms of upgrades. So you get to upgrade the asset that you own as a real estate investment, but also expense those against not only your business taxes, but possibly expensing against your W-2 salary if you have one, or your other tax liabilities if you have one. That leads into, and I'm only going to touch on it if this is something you're interested in to contact your CPA about, is bonus depreciation. Right now, you're getting 100% bonus depreciation in 2022, and tax laws are changing for 2023. So if you are someone that you are looking at a fairly sizable tax bill for 2022, congratulations. That means you've made great money this year. But those of us who are looking to offset some of that, buying a piece of real estate is actually a great way to offset some of that tax liability. So talk to your CPA about bonus depreciation. I'm not the expert, but I know it's one of a great, amazing benefit that I know I take advantage of and my clients take advantage of. And then lastly, legacy. Whether or not you have children or don't have children, or it's for your family, building a real estate investment portfolio, specifically in short-term rentals and vacation rentals, builds legacy. It builds something that you can be proud of and attach your name to. And there's so much pride. There's so many ways you can invest your money. Like I said, you can invest in the stock market. You can invest in commercial real estate. You can invest in art. You can invest in jewels and all sorts of other things. But when it comes to investing in short-term vacation rentals, you're investing not only in an appreciable asset, you're creating experiences for other people at the same time, which I just think is amazing. And I think for so many of us, we're looking to leave an impact on the world. And, there are lots of different ways we make impact. And it may seem silly on the surface level, but for me personally, every guest that I get to host, I believe that I am offering them impact, which is part of my legacy. I have guests from literally all over the world who come and stay in the homes that are under my management, some of which I own, some of which I manage for people who are generally out-of-state investors and they leave me to be responsible for their home. But we host people who are coming in for weddings. We host people that are coming in for funerals. We host people that are coming in to honor family members that have recently passed in different ways to honor their memories. We host retreats. We host corporate retreats. We host women's retreats. There's just such a countless different reasons why people come into the homes that I manage and others in this industry manage. And we help people create memories, and we help people make connections. And to me, that's so vital and so important. And the fact that I get to create these amazing experiences for other people and to hold a space for them is so amazing to me. And then couple that with, I now have an appreciable real estate investment that other people are paying off. To me, it's just a win-win-win. Is it an easy industry? Absolutely not. It's not all a bed of roses. There's lots of hiccups. There's definitely challenges, like so many businesses, of getting into this business and figuring out what the right kind of property is. Where is it? Is it local to you? Is it in your state? Is it out of state? Is it out of country? There's countless questions you need to ask yourself. But if this is something that calls to you, draws to you, it is such a fulfilling industry to be a part of. And I work with people in several different ways. I work with people in terms of being their buying agent. I am very, very well versed since at least 2016 in the vacation rental industry. I know what it takes to create profitability in this industry. I also, prior to that, owned a remodeling business with my dad for at least 10 years prior to that. So I happen to be in a really unique position that I understand homes much more in depth and in a structural way, more than your average agent. So I come into it very, very different perspective. I also have done most of my own interior design in my personal home for others and in the vacation rentals that I manage. So I bring in that eye. And so I'm always able to show people and to illustrate to people what the possibilities are, not what currently is. And I think that's something that's really vital when you are choosing the right home. And then all the way through is I have my own full service property management firm. I work with a small handful of clients in that way because I am truly working on what I like to call maximizing each home under my purview and not working on volume. Many property managers work on volume. I do not. And so I keep my family very, very tight. But for those that I do choose to work with, I can honestly say I treat your home exactly like my own. But for those that maybe aren't in the markets I operate in, I also offer one-on-one consulting. And that has been such a soul-filling blessing for me because I'm so passionate about what I offer and what this industry can hold and how this can be so transformative for anyone who chooses to be a part of it. And so I work with two sets of clients in that respect. I work with those who already own a vacation home, but are looking to monetize it and optimize it more strategically. And then I also work with people who are possibly interested in getting into this industry, but maybe don't know where to get started, or maybe want to work with someone to help them evaluate if this is the right industry for them. So I look forward to, speaking with any one of you if you have any interest in this. I think it's a lot of hard work. It can be difficult at times, but it's also incredibly rewarding, both emotionally and financially. And if anybody wants to connect with me, I think my name is spelled out on this video. You can find me on Facebook just like that. I have a unique name, so it's not difficult to find me. And my website is theboutiquepm.com. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Beata, for talking to us about something that can create wealth, right? Really fast. Real estate is a beautiful thing, having taken part in it for the first time this year. But I love the services that you offer and the information that you gave today. And I really hope that some people are able to take advantage of your consulting services if they're not around, so they can learn how to maximize their revenue through their property. You have some comments here. Everybody's just thanking you so much for the amazing job that you have done today here at the WEN conference. I'm sorry, not the WEN conference, the WEN Talk. I have to remind myself of where I am. But no, thank you so much, Beata. And can you just drop your socials and your website one more time?
Sure. You could find me on Facebook at Beata Lorinc, BeataLorinc. And my website is theboutiquepm.com.
There you go. There you have it, folks. Thank you so much, Beata. Again, this has been such a great time at the WEN Talk. Hey, listen, I had a great time taking over. Don't tell Haley, but I'm going to try to do this again.
You did
I
a
got
great job.
Thank you, Beata. I had some big shoes to fill. Haley is pretty good at almost everything that she does, and hosting these things she's phenomenal at. So it has been a pleasure talking to all of our speakers, all of the nuggets that they were able to drop. If you guys please drop a comment for those of you who are going to be watching this replay. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, we see you. We thank you for your time. We thank you guys for your attention, but more importantly, we thank you for being committed to your growth. We thank all of the speakers, and we thank all the people that were able to come and to drop comments in the chat. More importantly, let's thank our host from WEN, Miss Haley Gray, for this awesome forum where we get to come together, we get to learn together, grow together, and to do business together. Thank you all so much. We are going to go ahead and sign out. Haley.